This is the new Tecno Phantom V Fold 2, which costs $999 or some 80,000 rupees, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, which is almost double the price. So which one should you buy? Hey everyone, it's me Pratima, and as much as I love large screen foldables and that magical feeling of being able to carry a smartphone and a tablet in one device, the fact that they're so damn expensive just breaks my heart. But this phone, the Tecno V Fold 2, wants to change the game. It's a lot more affordable than all the popular foldables from Samsung, Pixel and even OnePlus, and that had me thinking, are affordable foldables actually worth it? And what exactly are you missing out on in here compared to something that costs twice as much? And for this, I have been testing the Tecno Fold 2 alongside the Galaxy Z Fold 6 for a week to figure out the truth. Alright, I want to start from the design, and right out of the bat, it's a little sad to see how a foldable veteran like Samsung has not figured out the normal aspect ratio on its cover display yet, whereas this newbie like Tecno got it right straight away. The 21:9 cover display on Tecno feels a lot easier to use and a lot like a regular smartphone, whereas the somewhat narrow aspect ratio on the Z Fold 6 still is quite difficult to use every now and then. But when it comes to the actual build quality, I was totally expecting Samsung to walk all over Tecno, to be honest. I clearly remember how last year's Tecno Fold was pretty disappointing in this regard. That thing was super heavy, super bulky, its leather back felt kind of cheap, and Tecno had not even worked out how to make the hinge freestand at different angles either. But now, I don't know what the engineers at Tecno had for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but they have somehow managed to address every one of those design flaws on the second try. The Tecno Phantom V Fold 2 is still slightly heavier than the Fold 6, but I would say it's much more manageable now. It's got a much nicer vegan leather back this time, while its hinge can also open at different angles just like on the Z Fold 6. Tecno even says this hinge has been tested for 400,000 folds, which is literally 2 times more compared to Samsung's, although the Fold 6 still has a superior hinge by some margin. So the funny thing is, Tecno's hinge is already struggling to stay still if I just open it like halfway through, and I especially don't like how it makes this really unsettling noise like you're squishing a tomato or something whenever I try to close it. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 is also the more sturdier of the two overall. It's got armor aluminum frame, stronger second-gen Victus glass protecting both the sides, and IP48 dust and water resistance, although you do get a more durable IP54 rating on Tecno's Foldable. Okay, how about the crease situation on the main display then? And would you believe me if I said this affordable Tecno Foldable has a lot less noticeable crease too? Here, as you can see, the Galaxy Fold 6's crease is almost like a groove with how deep it is, while I often forget about the crease on Tecno actually. The Tecno Fold 2's main display also has stylus support just like you get on the Galaxy Z Fold 6. It does not come bundled inside the box, and I can't even stick it around the back, but I've got to say it's quite fun to use for everything from quickly jotting down notes to doodling my ideas, taking screenshots and so much more. This thing even has 2 buttons, one for all the shortcuts like notes and screenshots, whereas the other one lets you switch between slides in case you're presenting a slide on the phone itself. I still prefer Samsung's S Pen for its simplicity and the fact that I can easily carry it around with a case, but this is pretty nice as well. The actual display quality of both these phones is pretty great though. From colors and contrast to viewing angles and touch response, Tecno's latest foldable keeps up with the Galaxy Z Fold 6 perfectly well. Still, if I have to nitpick, Samsung's display is slightly brighter and I get to watch HDR mastered videos on the Fold 6 whenever I want as well, unlike Tecno's Fold 2, which can only play HDR videos on YouTube right now. Not just that, but the Galaxy Z Fold 6 also has an advantage over Tecno with its tight and crisp haptics and a set of stereo speakers that sound considerably fuller, louder and more detailed too. So yeah, Tecno has done some cost cutting here and there to meet the price point, but the biggest cost cutting is in the performance side of things. This guy is powered by the same Dimensity 9000 Plus chip as last year's Tecno Fold, so the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor on the Galaxy Fold 6 completely wipes the floor with the V Fold 2 no matter what benchmark you look at. Even in all of my gaming tests, Samsung pulled ahead by a comfortable margin in every single game. The Tecno V Fold 2 is perfectly fast enough, perfectly smooth enough, and perfectly powerful enough to keep up with all of my work, although it would have been awesome if Tecno had gone with at least the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or the Dimensity 9300 chip this time. Anyway, I was quite worried that Tecno's software game would not be up to the task, but I've got to admit that it's a lot better and a lot of fun to use than I originally thought it would be. The pre-installed bloatware apps kind of ruined my initial impressions, but besides that, I love that Tecno has tried its best to bring every feature I could possibly want on a foldable phone. I'm pretty sure that some of that credit goes to Google, since Android itself has gotten a lot more foldable friendly over the years, but yeah, Tecno Fold 2 is a proper multitasking beast with all of the features like split screen mode, floating window, app pairs, app continuity, and even a taskbar like on Windows and Mac systems. Of course, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 can do it all too, and it can do it all better than Tecno. For example, with the Tecno V Fold 2, I can open two apps side by side and also rearrange their layout if I want, whereas on the Z Fold 6, Samsung actually lets me run 3 apps at a time. And I especially like how I can access my app pair shortcuts on the home screen, the recent menu, or the taskbar on this thing, unlike how that's only available on Recents page on Tecno. Anyway, even when it comes to generative AI features, I must say that Tecno has done a pretty fantastic job of keeping up with Samsung. That's because, except for the circle to search thing, the Tecno Fold 2 has just about all of the AI stuff there is on the Z Fold 6. This includes summarizing web pages, making photo edits using AI, transforming simple doodles into artistic images, and even real-time call translation. That last one only works with Arabic and French languages for now, and I hope Tecno adds other options like Hindi, Spanish, Mandarin, and so on in the coming days. The only thing about Tecno's software experience that I am utterly disappointed is it only has 2 major Android updates and 3 years of security updates. That is worse than some budget Android phones and nowhere near the 7 years of update commitment that Samsung promises for the Fold 6. Okay, let me talk about the cameras now, and instead of going through all the photos and nitpicking things one by one, I am going to tell you straight, the Tecno Fold 2's cameras are impressive but inconsistent. In some cases, I definitely prefer its images over the ones from the Fold 6, although I often notice that Samsung's post-processing game is simply too far ahead of Tecno, especially in terms of handling things like contrast levels, highlights, dynamic range, sharpness, and also that consistency across the lenses. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 does tend to shoot a bit punchier, a bit saturated images as always, but it ends up looking quite pleasing, so I don't mind. I also think Tecno could have gone with a longer focal length for its telephoto camera as well, since I don't find this 2x lens to be that useful for anything, whether I'm taking some zoom shots out on the streets or when I'm shooting some portraits. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 is also much better with human subjects compared to Tecno. It maintains a nicer subject focus and a more natural looking skin tone in both portraits as well as selfies. And I found that it's pretty much a one-sided battle in the video department too. Both of these phones can shoot up to 4K 60 FPS from all of the 3 cameras, but unlike the smooth and steady videos from the Galaxy Z Fold 6, Tecno's videos are just too wobbly. Stepping it down to 4K 30 FPS does improve the stabilization, but the overall video quality is still better on Samsung by a long shot. Anyway, the Tecno V Fold 2 has a gigantic 5750 mAh cell, which is literally the biggest battery on a foldable phone and over 30% larger than the Galaxy Z Fold 6's tiny 4400 mAh unit. But I don't know what's going on because I'm still getting only 5.5 to 6 hours of screen on time on average under medium to heavy usage with this phone, which is just like 30 to 40% more than what I've been getting from the Galaxy Z Fold 6. I didn't notice any significant battery drain overnight, so hopefully Tecno will optimize the battery with an update. It fills up pretty quickly though. The included 70-watt charger takes it from 1 to 100% in just 45 minutes, while the Fold 6 takes double the time for a complete refill. And besides wire charging, both of them also support a basic 15-watt wireless charging. So all in all, I guess it's pretty clear that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is a better foldable of the two in almost every single way. Its build is better, it looks better, it has better performance, better software experience, better cameras, and a whole lot more as well. So if money is not an issue, then the expensive foldables like the Galaxy Z Fold 6 still offer the best, most reliable experience overall. But let me just say that what Tecno has managed to deliver for half the price is nothing short of magical. It obviously makes a bunch of compromises against the board, although considering the price point, I'm mostly fine with them. So yeah, if price had been holding you back from getting a foldable all these years, I really think Tecno's Fold 2 is a great place to start. Alright everybody, that was all for my full review / comparison of the Tecno Phantom V Fold 2 versus the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. What do you think of this new foldable? Do let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.